you can eat. But the tree that's way in the midst of a garden, I don't want you to mess with that. Now, when we tell it, we don't tell it right. He says because that is the tree of the knowledge of good. Do you know you were better before you started knowing all this stuff you know?
That's right.
You're right. You were so much better. You loved coming to church before you found out Sue and Bob was sneaking around. Listen, church was on and popping before people start getting in your ear. And now you have the devil has told you, now you know if you eat you ain't gonna die. You're not gonna surely die. See, we keep thinking we're gonna die immediately when we don't know we're just gonna die ultimately. Because death is not immediately. You have to suffer in agony before you die. And the church has lost its value and its potency because we know too much evil and not enough good.
Yes, sir.
And we try to serve each other with what we know. What we heard. Some of what you heard ain't even true. But just because we love to hear stuff. You know, we great hearers. We like to be in the know concerning folks' business. As soon as somebody say something to you, like, they always gossiping. There wasn't no gossip when you was doing it. What are you talking about? Boo, boo, boo. Be not deceived.
God is not mocked.
God is not, y'all see. God is not mocked. Just like you talk about somebody talking about you. So how can we serve each other? How can we even serve God? How can we serve in the church? And we're so contaminated. Because we keep consuming all of this negative stuff. How can you be positive when your diet is negative?
That's right.
You produce after your own kind. You've never seen a cat have a dog. You produce after your own kind. When they had this cartoon out because you know the world is crazy, cat dog. On one end he was a cat, on the other end he was a dog. No, not so, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all don't remember cat dog? You produce after your own kind. It is impossible to be an orange tree and produce apples.
That's right.
So our production is what we've been consuming. What we've been taking in. How valuable is our lives is based upon the environments we hang out in. Watch this. Watch what Paul said to the church at Philippi in Philippians chapter 4. He said something in verse 7. I really thought he should have put it after 9, but I can't deal with the placement of scripture in the Bible. That ain't my business. He said in verse 8 and 9, he said, finally, my brother, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are of a good report. If there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Now verse 7 before he said that says, and the peace of God which surpasses all of man's understanding will keep your heart, your mind, and your soul. You know why you're so confused? Because your diet is confusion. You know why you're so mad with the church? Because everything you hear about the church is negative. You talk to people that don't like church. You talk to people that think all preachers are pimps. And you want to come to church after listening to all that negative stuff. Preachers is liars. Preachers is pimps. Preachers is gay. Let me tell y'all, I'm a whole lot, but gay ain't one. Most of my troubles has been because I wasn't gay, if you understand what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking. Yes. Yes. I know what he's talking about.
If God made anything better than a woman, he took it for himself and took it back to glory.
I'm Reverend.
That's just my belief.
You You ain't alone.
So that's not my problem.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? But all of us got one. Sitting in here with your nice little outfit on, boo. You don't fool nobody. You are wrestling with something. And what we've done is we've allowed people to contaminate our spirits. Now look, the tree was way in the midst. There were other trees in front of it that you could have had, but you worked yourself to the place you should have never been. And in working yourself to the place that you've never been, you have asked God, you have had God to come and ask you, now where are you? Remember when Adam finally ate, because the covenant was not with woman.
that's right.
Covenant was with man.
That's right.
That's why if I was a woman, I sure couldn't have no broke down man. Because the whole house falls victim to a broke down man. Y'all don't like it. Nothing happened when Eve ate. Even though Satan told her a partial truth, he said, you're not going to surely die. My grandmama used to tell me the devil telling a lie even when he's telling the truth. Tried the same trick on Jesus. Turn these rocks into stones. Jump off of here. Didn't God say he'll give his angels charge over you? No, you don't play with God like that. He told Eve, if you eat, you're not going to surely die. You're going to become like gods, knowing good and evil. I'm going to say this. I'm going to stop. You know everything you want to know now, what you get from it. You were doing better before you figured all this stuff out.
Yes, sir.
See, sin is an appetite. Y'all don't know that. I keep trying to tell the young people, stay celibate. And that ain't somebody, you celibate and somebody buy a bit. I'm saying, stay celibate. Because sex is an appetite. And once you get in it and get that feeling, baby, you allow to your mama to get it. You'll lose your job to get it. It's almost like crack. You'll be in the daytime with a flashlight looking for somebody. I done ran the girl out of church. Lord, the girl is It's an appetite once you eat it. And there are things, y'all, once we get in it, it is all consuming. And so God tells us, abstain from that. Stay away from that. You may have an adult body, but you got an immature mind. Stay away from that. It's going to rob you. It's going to... You were pure at one time. Until you start indulging. I asked the Lord, I said, now Lord, are you telling me we have to come to church and can't have fellowship? He said, no, you can have fellowship. I just don't want you to have indulgence. See, fellowship and indulgence is two different things. Fellowship is, hey, how you doing? Indulgence is, here, you take something too. You can't indulge in what these people are doing and maintain your level of dignity and maintain your integrity and maintain your character. You gotta be pure. Come out from among them. Be separated. Touch not the unclean thing. There is a line between that which is clean and that which is unclean.
Yes.
That's old church. Y'all ain't heard that in years. Because we've gone 2 decades without even mentioning Jesus. Everything in the church now is about you. How you feel. Touch your neighbor. You're going to get a new hat. Every week we got to promise you something. You know, you ain't going home feeling like you had church. You're going to get another scarf. You know, child, please. You ain't going to get nothing if you don't get a job. raining stuff out the sky too. He is blessing them that prepare themselves. If you don't go to school, if you don't get an education, you're going to be at the front of this church with a sign talking about you'll work for food or trying to rob me one. How many times have y'all helped this community just to come here and they done ripped the door off and stole speakers and stuff? Those are people that don't want God, they just want stuff. And this last day generation don't want God, we just want stuff. We don't even want to be saved. It's too time consuming to be saved. What? I got to go to church? What? I got to give my money? What? I got to give my time? What? I got to treat everybody? Oh, too many rules. Too many rules. We don't want God. Preachers don't even want him no more. They can't even preach without checking to see if they've been here an hour because they want to go home and look at the game. Child, we ain't studying God no more. We want that money. And we want that recognition. And we want to walk in and get a seat somewhere. Not interested in pushing the kingdom no more because we're not pure any longer. We done looked at the TV. Now we want a TV dinner instead of the Holy Ghost.
Right.
Touch your neighbor. Why don't y'all keep your hands to yourself? What you got to touch me for? Touch your neighbor. Touch your neighbor. Please, stop. Quit. Do not touch me. I don't know where your hands been. Touch your neighbor. Touch your neighbor.